Hey everyone, and welcome to Unleash the Greatest Within. My name is Tanja Andersen, and I'm the host on this amazing show. And today we have an amazing organization that is saving children as animals. Welcome, Tracey and Micheal.
Hello.
Thank you. Hello.
So nice to have you.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So this organization is called Peanuts Wellbeing Century. Is that correct, my friends?
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
Perfect.
We called it well, yeah.
Okay, and why I picked this organization is because I find them on Google, and what is really hitting me is around the sanctuary around animals. They will talk more about into that, and also working with children. There is a Bruce and really inspire them to living on plant-based, and really touched me in why I choose to be vegan for over 4 years ago. Was I was in so much suffering and I feel so alone inside, and how much animals was really helping me to find myself, to really stand up for myself and really give me the place for me to be who I am. They really helped me to heal myself, and what they are doing for children and animals is so beautiful. And I never find often organizations that really connect these two important pieces together. So I'm so blessed and proud of to have this amazing organization in this show and giving that to you guys. So please tell us a little bit, who are you, Tracey and Micheal, and a little bit about your organization.
So both me and Tracey, we both live a plant-based lifestyle, and Peanuts Wellbeing Sanctuary came about because we saw the need for animals that were abused, neglected, or homeless, and we rescued those animals. At the same time we started the sanctuary, we saw the need with the children that were also being abused, neglected, or left homeless, and we adopted our mission statement as breaking the cycle of abuse. So what we do is we have a program and hold little events where the children from those needed backgrounds or disadvantaged backgrounds come and spend time with the animals, and they hear stories about our animals that we've rescued, and the children can connect the dots and understand that they are not alone. And quite often we find that because the animals don't talk back to the children start to open up and express themselves. And once they understand a little bit about empathy and compassion, they now have the information as they grow up to break that cycle of abuse.
Yeah, I think we found, especially with working with the animals and then having the children's side of it, we found that the children that are raised in environments where they're quite violent and aggressive, that they actually express, the only way that they can show their emotions is generally, unfortunately, out on their peers or animals. So we realized that if we don't teach them an alternative or show them that there's an alternative way, the cycle just keeps going on and on. So by actually getting them here and teaching them, well, there is a better way, and look, what's happening to you is very bad, but you know, you can change that, and you can also help animals at the same time, and instead of going down that track of being abusive towards them.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful and so powerful. And I feel what you're talking about, I feel that around myself because I have been part of that in my past. So it's so beautiful how important piece animals are playing in our healing, and also find ourselves and find our voice, our unique voice in this life. So how did you find this passion to create a sanctuary for animals and children?
Well, I think what it was is that like everyone, you go along with your life and you're doing things, but there was always something inside that just made us think, you know, we can do more. We you know, we had a Christmas here where there was such bad abuse of animals, and it was all over the news, and there was a child that was found dead in a suitcase, and it was, you know, another child starved to death, and we literally rolled over and went, you know, we've got to do something. We've got to play our part, what we can do to help. So that was the start of Peanuts, basically. So we just said we just have to just do what we can do to try and help. And, you know, it's so rewarding, like what we see, what we do.
Did you live on a farm before you find this person, or did you change the total lifestyle to really move to the farm, out to the country on a farm?
Well, I was raised in the city on the outskirts, but we were in the city. So we actually moved out to the country to try and achieve Peanuts' mission.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And I actually grew up on a farm where the slaughtering of animals so that you could eat was part of your upbringing. And over the years, for me to understand that animals suffer as well and feel pain, that was my stepping stone to having a plant-based lifestyle. And as Tracey said, being in the country, you can have more land around you so that when the groups of children come out, they're not confined to a small area. Because we can open up and get around the property, the children can be by themselves, and then they can express themselves. Where if you're contained to a group, a lot of children as well as adults, they don't want to talk. They go, oh, they might hear me, they might judge me. But when we can separate them out and be with animals, it's just an amazing thing to see children change for the better.
Yeah, and we don't take credit for any of it. Like, it's the animals and the children that do it, you know. I mean, we had a girl here that basically said one time, she was just walking around with one of the horses, and she just said, she was talking away, and she just said, I like to talk to you. This was to one of our horses, because you don't judge me. You know, so we just provide the platform for them.
It's so powerful and so true. Like, it is so like a clean line into our soul, what we're hiding inside. Also us as adult people, because a lot of adult people is hiding emotions, thoughts, experience they have. And when they with the animal, it's just like having the like space for them to really like get in contact with what they get to work on, to be the different, because we as an adult, we get to work on the things we don't want to work on before we also can make a change, like inspire and motivate others to make the small change in lifestyle. Yeah. So what is one of the biggest threat you're facing, like in your work, like around to save animals?
Biggest threat?
Like what?
Obviously, it's just support, I guess. Yeah, like we don't receive any government help or anything for what we do. So I guess we wouldn't survive if it was not for the support of people.
Of course.
So it's that's what drives us, and that's what, you know, financially keeps us going as well.
So financially, for us to keep doing what we're doing is one side. Another threat, or not so much a threat, but a wall that we face, is that when we become aware of an animal that is neglected or starved or abused, the people that have that animal are sometimes very reluctant to let the animal go to live a better life somewhere, like with Peanuts. With the children's side of it, because we work with a lot of child support organizations, they kind of take care of that part. We just have to have our working with children's checks, background checks, police checks. So sometimes it's heartbreaking for us to know that we can make a difference with an animal, but if we can't get somewhere because of trespassing laws, etc., to rescue that animal, it's hurtful for us. But it's the support from the people that believe in what Peanuts does, and the donations that allow us to keep doing what we do.
Powerful. So when you're facing that around going out and saving animals, and the owners don't want to let go of the animals, how do you find a solution to receive that animals, to save that animals, so the animals can live on peanuts for like lifetime before it is getting old and going away?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it is how you approach the people as well. You know, if you can't be judgmental, you can't judge them or anything like that. You just need to say, look, we'll take the animal off your hands. You know, we'll take it. There's going to be no expense to you, no nothing. We'll just take it and we'll look after it. So we do find that works a lot. Like that's very helpful. I mean, at the moment, we've got some horses that are coming on board, you know, and we've offered to go out, we've offered to do the work with them to try and get them on the float and things like that. So, you know, there's always ways around it. We just, you know, a lot of it is the way that you do approach people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, my friend, congratulations with your horses. I saw a video on social media with the new horses. It was an incredible video. So beautiful. Also the work you're doing.
Oh, that's good. Thanks. Well, we've still got one more to come. Yep. We unfortunately they have had absolutely like nothing done for them. So it took us a long time to get one girl on. So we've still got one. We're hoping this Saturday we'll go. And the property that she's on, they're actually quite welcoming for us to go and get her. So, you know, it's always great when we get that reception.
Amazing. So when you're standing there and it is a little bit challenge to stand there, because I hear from a lot of people to save animals and to see what is happening with our own eyes. It can be sometimes challenging to really keep moving. So how do you turn around awful situation standing, like let's say you cannot save the animals? How do you turn around to be powerful and like keep going your amazing work you're doing?
Well, a lot of it comes down to me and Tracey are a very tight-knit team. So we literally support each other. Sometimes, yes, you may go to a situation where an animal's been starved and horrifically neglected and literally it needs vet help. That is hard for us. But the positive side of it that I like to think that we run with is that if we can rescue that animal, we can make it better. Because we've had a number of stories that we could tell you about animals that we've rescued that literally try to fight to get something to eat. And then we work with them to keep them calm so they understand that we look after them and we feed them, you know, on a regular time. And then they get used to our routine and they start to trust us. So it's also with animals for them to accept humans as trustworthy again, even though they've lived a life where they hate humans, they don't trust them. But we're very supportive towards each other, no matter what it is. And like, for instance, one time we rescued 4 goats. We literally had the trailer open to get the goats on and literally had to just hide in the grass for hours, like a couple of hours crouched, waiting for the goats to walk in so I could jump out and close the gates. And you just do it.
And it was near a road. Yeah. Trust me, I think people thought we were weird, but if we had not, it was near a road. If we had not got them, they would have been hit by trucks or something. So, you know, you just do what you have to do. But I think no matter what condition the animal is in, when you find them, if they can be saved, that to us is reward. Like we just go, you know what? We can save you. Like they can be next to starving to death. We've had animals come here that they're nothing but bones, but they live and you know, so we're just like, will you live? You know, that's great. The one thing that you never ever will get used to is if you go out and animals in such bad condition and you rescue them but they don't make it. That is something that it doesn't matter how many times, you will never ever get used to that. That is the heartbreaking. So
I'm curious to know something I'm not really have too much experience with. Like with humans, you can only save a human if the human choose to be saved. Like the human choose for you to help the human. Is it the same like animals? Because I have seen horrible cases out there in the world where the animals have chosen to die or giving up with their life. Is there also sometimes animals like just to give up on life, or is there still this hope of it can turn around, if that's the meaning?
Yeah, I think I think the majority want to live. The majority of animals, they don't think like us. So the majority of them really want to live. But yes, you do come across the odd one that they've just been through so much horrific stuff, they have just checked out. And they literally, they just want to go.
Yeah.
So in those cases, you just be there for them.
Yeah.
It's, you know, that's all you do. You just be there for them. And, you know, sometimes, I mean, we've had one, like pigs suffer massive depression. And we did have one pig that, you know, she was done. She'd been through it all and or life or whatever, and just passed. But, you know, she wasn't young either, but she was just, her depression just kicked in, and then that was it. And all you do is make them comfortable.
Yeah.
But I have to say that's very rare that we've come across, but I can imagine in the greater scheme of things, it would happen a lot more out in the world.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful what you'd say. It's like how you are together with each other is so like teamwork, to have a healthy team like you are with each other, so you can like inspire each other to keep going and decide other one to keep going, is so important in this work, to really stand there and also to have that skills of teamwork and really be there for each other and also be there for animals. I remember one type of, I was traveling for a long time, and one of my birds get a depression because he have a really like strong connection to me. And when I come home, I was sleeping together with her on my bed. My bed was totally mess of so much bird poo, and it was just like, that is something she was needing, is to be on my head, and before she's coming out of the present, because she was missing me so badly. So sometimes we really get to just be there and give what the animal needs and put ourselves a little bit to the sides. So it's so beautiful what you're talking about.
And animals, especially like we had a dog that recently passed, old age, like he was rescued quite young. He'd been with us for quite a long time, but he formed a partnership with another dog that we rescued, and they were the best of friends. And sadly, when Bruce passed away, Frodo really, he just wasn't the same after. He just suffered. You could just see it in him. He was just sad. So all he needed was just time, like us when we lose somebody. And then just to be, you know, you just keep going for walks and all of that sort of stuff. So, and I think it took a couple of weeks, didn't it?
Did.
But then he came around, he came right again. You know, he's and he's an old man himself. So, you know, but yeah, animals, they form bonds, and they miss each other and stuff like that. So
yeah, definitely. I'm curious to know, and I also believe the audience always want to know around what is some of your most beautiful experience to really be there saving animals and be there for children to see that kind of magic that is happening.
Yeah, I've got one story that sticks out the most, and I will always repeat this. There was a boy that came, and he had come from a home environment. They were removed, him and his siblings were removed from the home, and it was an absolute tragic story. Now, this boy spent his whole life, he was only about 12, he spent his whole life protecting his siblings. When he was put into care, they very, very sadly, they got him a kitten. And unfortunately, the carers weren't aware, and he actually killed the kitten. So when he was due to come here, they rang us and said, look, you probably don't want this boy to come. And we said, no, we definitely want this boy to come, because that's the boys, that's the children that need to come here. Now, they were here for a weekend. There was a group of them. He never spoke. He never did anything. He would point at the food that he wanted. like, you know, and they were only here for the weekend. Now, we did a goat rescue while this group of boys were here, went down, rescued goats with them, came back, and they all had turns at watching and minding the goats to go, right, oh, they're okay. Or one had a limp, so they had to make sure that she was doing okay. And, you know, they felt really important. They felt, oh, yeah, this is, you know, this is really a great job. Now, at the end, when they were leaving, we all gave them a little gift pack and that. When they were leaving, this boy ran up and hugged us and said, thank you so much. He said, I will always protect animals now.
Oh my God.
The caseworker that brought him absolutely was flabbergasted. Like, she just was so shocked. She said, we've been working with him for 6 months and we haven't got 2 words out of him. And one weekend here, and, you know, and you even get a hug from him. I think the hug was because he wouldn't let anyone touch him. So I think that was the most shocking part, you know. That will stick with me for the rest of my life. It was just
it's so much because the children are under the age of 18. You can't disclose information about them, but
too much,
to have a story to say, like this child, it's just gives you shivers every time you sort of relive it, you know, because we lived it. And people, unless you're involved in that, don't get a full feeling of it. But for us to know in 48 hours, we've changed a child's life and rescued 2 goats, that's what drives us, to know that we can help somebody, so, and animals.
Yeah, so it's, you know, so that's what drives us. I mean, you know, we get so tired and exhausted, but we get to go out and we get to see those animals. We look in their eyes every single day. So
it is so important also, like right here is so a key element you're talking about is no matter how much we're working, like no matter how much you're working, your vision is speaking and giving your energy no matter what you're standing, because your vision is talking so loud and so big in every challenge, so that is just boosting your body with so much energy. And that is so important also to you, the audience, is really finding your unique voice and finding your purpose in life. It get to speak so loud in every challenge you're in, and on that point, you know, you have hit your purpose in life, as Tracey and Micheal talk about. The vision get to talk loudly in everything, and you just keep going and finding the hidden energy in your body.
Yes, exactly.
So Tracey and Mike, what is the 5 action steps people, the audience, can do in the lifestyle to really, like, what me in Denmark, what can I do that can support your work? Like, what action step can I make?
Well, I think I mean, following us on social media, signing up for our newsletter, any support that you can send our way. I know people are on the other side of the world and things like that, but you know, things like that are very helpful and supportive to us.
So it gives you that extra drive that someone like on the other side of the world can send us a message and just go, thank you for what you're doing. It's making a huge difference. We don't know that person, but we feel that we've touched that person in such a way, or they believe so strongly in what we do, that inspires us.
We've also got, we also have, if anyone is ever in Australia, New South Wales or Canberra, we actually have a dinner, bread and breakfast overnight stay that we do to help us fundraise. So it would be lovely to see anyone that's here on holidays. They can always pop down to the sanctuary and stay, and that's another way to support us as well. So, and of course online donation too.
And also get an experience. Like, what I really inspire people to do is, like, if you have it in you on a traveling, on vacations, please look up on a non-government organization, a sanctuary, to come down there and get that experience in your body. It is totally different compared to see it on the social media, see it in the TV. Is to smell, to feel it, to see it. It is making a huge impact that will change, like, your life on so many different ways. It is crazy.
Yeah, there's a new platform where gentlemen contacted us, and they've started it up, and it's called the Vegan Stay. And they're actually starting to list all like sanctuaries or places that people can stay all over the world. Now it's only just started, so there's probably only a handful of places on there, but it will get bigger.
Yeah.
So if anyone's traveling and they think, you know, we want to support like-minded people or sanctuaries, they've that's the place to look, I think.
Yeah.
Amazing. So what action step, like when I'm going in grocery, what can I be inspired by you to think differently around my food choices?
Well, knowing that if people are, say, like vegetarian or non-vegan, if they go in and can see a animal product substitute, don't be afraid to give it a go, but have that mindset of that little change that you make is making a huge change globally. Because it's one thing for people to go, oh, vegan or vegetarian, like, don't get it. People have to have that connection to an animal, or actually see that an animal has been abused, mistreated, or neglected, to make that connection to go, well, hang on, if I stop having cheese, for instance, from cows, that's going to reduce the number of baby bobby calves that get taken away from their mums, and they don't have that child like connection to grow up, like the calf and the mother. So if people just make that change, whether it's a full change or whatever, just one little substitute, or meat-free Mondays, for instance, where that little change that they make, it's a flow-on effect to tell the big companies of the world, we don't want your animal products, we want plant-based products, and that will change that cycle. And that's where we come back to our mission statement of breaking the cycle of abuse. Because you can't go to an adult and say, hey, you need to do this to make it better, because you're always going to have mistreated, abused, neglected animals. But if we can work with the children and they grow up knowing that they can make the difference, not now, not in 10 years, but in a couple of generations, you will see the difference. Yeah. Like the plant-based movement has just really taken off in the last 10 years. And regardless of whether it's for health or empathy or compassion, it doesn't matter. It's
all for the environment.
All for the environment, especially. It's making that difference. So if people just make that one little choice difference, that's just going to have a bigger flow-on impact.
And I would actually recommend, and if you can't come to Australia and come to Peanuts, anyone that's listening, try and get to a sanctuary. If you're doing it for empathy reasons, get to a sanctuary, because then you will get up close and personal to the animals that you are making that change for.
Yeah.
Powerful. That is powerful. That is a powerful statement to end this amazing interview. So before we end this interview, Tracey and Micheal, is there something you want to leave the audience with? The last thing you have on your heart you want to share with them?
I just believe, look, be on your journey, be kind, and just, treat animals exactly how you would like to be treated. Treat children, your peers, just exactly how you would like to be treated. And I think if everyone actually practiced that, the world would be so much a better place.
Yeah. And don't live your life feeling that you're being judged by others. If you want to rescue animals, if you want to make a change to a plant-based lifestyle, don't be judged by your friends and stuff, and don't preach to them. Just try and teach them, because a little bit of education and knowledge goes a lot further than trying to preach to someone that they have to make that change. So just take little steps, do what makes you feel good in life. And if you want to save animals and stuff, it's a struggle, but reach out to people like me and Tracey or other sanctuaries that live it. It can be hard, but the rewards are so much better. And
we're always happy to talk to anybody that is thinking about doing things. So Yeah. And, you know,
Amazing.
and definitely if you're in the area, make sure you call and say hello.
Yeah.
Definitely. And to you, dear audience, please go back to your newsletter or go down here below in the video. There is all the information you need around Peanuts and Tracey and Micheal's work. There's all the links to the social media, donates, the NB, like all the information there. So please go back to newsletter or look down on this video so you can get contact with them straight away. What I really inspire you to do, motivate you to do, is really put an action on it right now after this interview you're seeing, because it's so important. When we have a new knowledge, we act on it, because at that point we get it deeper in our minds. If we choose, most of us choose to leave it and say another day, you're choosing to limit yourself and you choose to limit your new information. So please use a half hour at least after this interview to look up our Peanuts, like them, follow them. Please click on the little button. So click on the clicking so you get all the social media links, and also send them a message what you get out of this interview, or book a trip in your calendar to take down to Australia to visit them. So please use a half hour after this interview with the knowledge you have and act on it after your curiosity or what is coming up in you. So Tracey and Micheal, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for you to saying yes to be on this show. Unleash your greatest within, because you definitely talk about into that topic, and you definitely is really amazing people that are doing a big difference to really connect with people on very natural way to push them very fast forward, because we get to meet where people is, and that is so beautiful. You're meeting people there.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. You're so much welcome. See you guys, and see you, the audience. And thank you so much for being here and watching this amazing interview.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.